Hello, all, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me in this study of the book of Joshua. Today, we're going to be looking at Joshua chapter 7. If you want to grab your Bibles and read through it with me, or you can just listen along as I read. Joshua chapter 7. But the Israelites were unfaithful in regard to the devoted things. Achan, son of Carmi, the son of Zimri, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took some of them. So the Lord's anger burned against Israel. Now Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Bethaven, to the east of Bethel, and told them, "Go up and spy out the region." So the men went up and spied out Ai. When they returned to Joshua, they said, "Not all the army will have to go up against Ai. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it, and do not weary the whole army, for only a few people live there." So about 3,000 went up, but they were routed by the men of Ai, who killed about 36 of them. They chased the Israelites from the city gate as far as the stone quarries, and struck them down on the slopes. At this the hearts of the people melted in fear and became like water. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord, remaining there till evening. The elders of Israel did the same and sprinkled dust on their heads. And Joshua said, "Alas, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites to destroy us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side of the Jordan. Pardon your servant, Lord. What can I say, now that Israel has been routed by its enemies? The Canaanites and the other people of the country will hear about this, and they will surround us and wipe out our name from the earth. What then will you do for your own great name?" The Lord said to Joshua, "Stand up. What are you doing down on your face? Israel has sinned. They have violated my covenant, which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen. They have lied. They have put them in with their own possessions. That is why the Israelites cannot stand against their enemies. They turn their backs and run because they have been made liable to destruction. I will not be with you any more, unless you destroy whatever among you is devoted to destruction. Go, consecrate the people. Tell them, 'Consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. There are devoted things among you, Israel. You cannot stand against your enemies until you remove them. In the morning, present yourselves tribe by tribe. The tribe the Lord chooses shall come forward, clan by clan. The clan the Lord chooses shall come forward, family by family. And the family the Lord chooses shall come forward, man by man. Whoever is caught with the devoted things shall be destroyed by fire, along with all that belongs to him. He has violated the covenant of the Lord and has done an outrageous thing in Israel." Early the next morning, Joshua had Israel come forward by tribes, and Judah was chosen. The clans of Judah came forward, and the Zerahites were chosen. He had the clan of the Zerahites come forward by families, and Zimri was chosen. Joshua had his family come forward, man by man, and Achan, son of Carmi, the son of Zimri, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was chosen. Then Joshua said to Achan, "My son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, and honor him. Tell me what you have done. Do not hide it from me." Achan replied, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I have done. When I saw in the plunder a beautiful robe from Babylonia, 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. They are hidden in the ground inside my tent with the silver underneath." So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and there it was, hidden in his tent, with the silver underneath. They took the things from the tent, brought them to Joshua and all the Israelites, and spread them out before the Lord. Then Joshua, together with all Israel, took Achan, son of Zerah, the silver, the robe, the gold bar, his sons and daughters, his cattle, donkeys, and sheep, his tent, and all that he had, to the valley of Achor. Joshua said, "Why have you brought this trouble on us? The Lord will bring trouble on you today." Then all Israel stoned him, and after they had stoned the rest, they burned them. Over Achan they heaped up a large pile of rocks, which remains to this day. Then the Lord turned from his fierce anger. Therefore the place has been called the Valley of Achor ever since. As we enter into Joshua chapter 7, the Israelites had just come from the Battle of Jericho. They had gone up against the city of Jericho, where they walked around the city for 7 days, 7 times on the seventh day. And at the end of that seventh time around the city, they blew the trumpets. They shouted out loud, and the walls came tumbling down. And so the Israelite army was able to enter into the city and conquer it and destroy it. But when they went into the city, God had told them that there were certain items that were set apart for him, devoted to him, and they belonged to him. And so their responsibility was to destroy the city, but keep the devoted things separate. Well, we come into Joshua 7, and we see that those devoted things, there was a little sticky hands going on, where we see this man Achan that had decided to take some of the devoted things for himself. And the results of what took place when that happened. You see, what happened with Achan was there was a romance to that unfaithfulness, a romance to the sin that led to distraction. You know, he said he went into the city and he destroyed the city. He was part of that army, part of that team. And he says, but while I was in there and I saw the plunder, and I saw this beautiful robe that was made in Babylonia, and I saw the silver, and I saw this bar of gold, and I thought, man, I would like to have that stuff for myself. He was distracted from the mission. He was distracted from the command to destroy the city and leave the devoted things for God. They were set apart for him. But Achan, he was distracted. And the same is true for us. You know, God, he doesn't want us to sin any longer. Although, you know, we are not sinless people. We are easily swayed. We're easily tempted. But only by the Spirit of God in us can we overcome sin. But we have to be careful about the way we live our lives. What are the sins that we battle? What are the things in our lives that causes us to be distracted? You know, Scripture says that if there is anything that we think is sin, it is sin for us. It may not be a sin for somebody else, but it is a sin for us. So if there are those things in our lives that are in front of us, or we put into our path that we know that is sin, we need to be very careful, because the sin, that unfaithfulness in our lives, causes a distraction from what God really wants. And he wants that relationship with us. And if we have that sin in the camp, if we go after the things that we know that we shouldn't go after, we're going to be distracted from what truly matters. That relationship with God, the relationship with other people. We're caught up in the romance of what sin might bring. So pay attention to that. But along with that romance, there's the ripple effect of sin that causes disruption in the lives of people. You know, you look at this story in Joshua 7 as a perfect example. You see, Achan, he was one man in the Israelite camp, one man from the army that took some of the devoted things. And it affected his life. It disrupted his life, but it didn't disrupt just his life. It disrupted his family. Because God says that, you know, whoever it is that took these things, he and his entire family are going to be destroyed by fire. It was going to mess up not only Achan, but his family and everything that he owned. But not only that, it affected the entire nation of Israel. You see, they had just come from this battle with Jericho, where they saw God doing this miraculous work of seeing the walls come crumbling down and just the easy access back into the city to destroy it and take it for their own. And now they were going up against the city of Ai. And Joshua sends out spies, and the spies come back and say, oh, don't send the entire army. Just send 2,000 or 3,000 of them, because there's very few people that live there. So not a problem. We can take this city, not an issue. So they sent 3,000 men, and they were routed out by the people of Ai. And because of that routing, it brought great fear upon the people of Israel, upon their nation. And the only reason they were routed is because Achan had taken the devoted things. He had taken them for himself. That selfishness of not following what God wanted, but doing what his heart desired. And the effect that that had, not only on him and his family, but on the entire nation. And that, again, that's something we need to be aware of. You know, the sins that we struggle with, the sins in our lives, can have a major impact, will have a major impact on our own being individually, but it'll affect our family as well. You know, the sins of their father to the third and fourth generation, whatever that is, the sins that we struggle with, our children will struggle with, and their children will struggle with, to where we need to remove that sin from us. And it goes beyond just us. It's the family, it's a nation, it's our friends and relatives and co-workers, whoever that may be. If we are struggling with sin, bound by sin, that's going to have a major impact, a major disruption in our life and in the lives of those around us. But not only is there that ripple effect, the result of sin is basically destruction. And we see that God had told Joshua, okay, I want you to bring every tribe to you, and whatever tribe I pick or choose, they're going to come by clan, and whichever clan I choose, family by family, whatever family I choose, they're supposed to come man by man. Whoever I choose, that is the one that has stolen or taken the devoted things. The thing that struck me, though, is here's Joshua, this great leader. And if you read that, if you listen to that, or if you read the passage again, you know, when they were coming by tribe by tribe, clan by clan, family by family, it says, and Joshua's family came forward man by man. So it doesn't matter who the patriarch of the family is, who your parents or grandparents are. Sin can seep in anywhere and affect anyone. So here was someone from Joshua's tribe and clan and family who had taken the devoted things and caused such a disruption upon the family, upon the nation of Israel. And so that leads to the destruction, because we read then that Achan, what does it say? Achan, his sons and daughters, the silver, the gold, the robe, his cattle, his donkeys, everything, his tent and all of his possessions, they were taken to the valley of Achor, and he was stoned, and the rest of his family was stoned. And then they set everything on fire. Total destruction because of Achan's desire, distraction of the things of beauty that he wanted, the things that God said, stay away from. So we have a choice. Achan had a choice, and he chose the wrong thing. But we have a choice too. That choice of either devotion or destruction. And an interesting thing that I came across as I was looking at this, devotion means dying to self. So that, we totally belong to God. And someone once said the devoted things of God, that silver, that gold, the iron, whatever was in Jericho that was devoted to him, most of the time when the things were devoted to God, they were set apart for God, but they were destroyed. They were burned up so that they belonged to him. It's kind of like in the Old Testament, when people would go to the temple or the tabernacle, and the first thing they had to do is they took their sacrifice, the lamb, the bull, the dove, the whatever it was, and that sacrifice was slaughtered, then burned on the altar. It gave its everything. That's total devotion. And God is saying, I want you to be devoted to me. You are my devoted things, which means you belong to me. You're everything. You need to place your entire life upon the altar and give it to me because you belong to me. And as I put you through that fire, you look at silver and gold. What happens when they go through the fire? They're refined and they become pure. And God is saying, be devoted to me, die to yourself, and die on that altar so that you can be refined into perfection and purity and beauty. Or we can choose destruction, which is death as well. It's death through selfishness. Devotion is dying to self. Destruction is dying from selfishness. Being swayed by that romance of sin and wanting to dabble in things. Don't do it. Because of that ripple effect, the disturbance and disruption that will bring upon you and your family, it's not worth it. And that the result at the end of life is death. If we are separated from God, we have no hope. If we're separated from God and we continue to commit sin, our end result is death. But if we devote ourselves to God through Jesus Christ, we belong to him. He'll put us through the fire. He'll refine us. He'll make us beautiful in his eyes, which we already are because of Christ. But the choice is ours. Are you devoted to God, or are you seeking destruction? Are you looking for devotion or destruction? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to land? Devote yourself to the Lord, and he will make things right for you. God bless. Have a great day. See you next time.